YouTube, chicks. Get ready. You know what to do, chicks.
Listen, Chick Smooth.
Hey, Chick Smooth, appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Hey man, on my last video, somebody said, nah, Chicks, covered the video where Joe said he, Pusha T, and Kendrick Lamar ended Drake's run, my guy. Now, you must be new here, Nanan, because we keep it honest on this channel. Now, if you guys do not know what they're referring to, last night, Joe Budden was on Twitter Spaces over at JBTV Community on Twitter, which, by the way, if you guys are Joe Budden podcast fans, make sure you guys go follow them over there. But Joe hopped on Spaces and gave a very interesting take. Now, I'm gonna play you guys the full context, the full clip, not the short one that's circulating without context. A member from the Spaces asked Joe, hey, do you ever fear that you'll be the first one to do something and not reap the rewards from it? Here's the entire conversation and Joe's response to it.
Do you ever fear that you be the first to do something, but other people will reap the rewards? And I think my classic example for that is your disses to Drake, all five of them or all four of them, were an excellent data mine for other people, right? And I think that your podcast career, thankfully, got so good, you've been able to really reap the rewards for the work that you put in much earlier, much earlier than people realize from like Ustream days. You know, you've been able to reap the rewards from that. But do you have like any kind of fear that your next move now, because you've got so many eyes on you and people understand that you're a pioneer now, do you fear that your next move now might not be, the audience might not be quite ready for it, and then somebody else will take it and run with it? Do you ever worry about things like that?
Not at all. Make somebody else a dollar. Like that's happened from day one with me. I don't get here today if I'm not able to make Spit Records some money, Def Jam some money, Amalgam Digital some money, Mona Scott Young some money, Hot 97 some money, Love and Hip Hop some money. Like there's so many people that I had to deliver proof of concept to, or Spotify. Shit, Spotify wasn't public when we was there.
Wow.
So I mean, that's part of the game. So you hope to do that enough to just continue to climb the ladder. And as far as your other point, I'll share some really, it may come off the wrong way, it may sound narcissistic, but I don't think any one man takes down Drake. I think that was a baton. I think I passed the baton to Push. I think Push passed the baton to Kendrick, and the job is done now. That's how I feel in my head and my heart.
That's crazy.
Now, initially hearing Joe saying he passed the baton to Pusha T, and then Pusha passed it to Kendrick, which then ended Drake. You gotta assume Joe was drunk on the Spaces. You gotta assume Joe is just giving a hot take. Drake ignored every single one of Joe's diss songs to him, simply because Drake did not feel like Joe was on the same level as him. Now, for those of you guys that do not know, yes, Joe was a rapper. He was a pretty good rapper back then. Joe had 3 really good diss songs to Drake, Making a Murderer Part 1, Wake, and Afraid. Now, Joe is definitely giving Drake the business in all these 3 diss songs. I urge you guys to go back and listen to them. I know Joe was not a popular rapper back then when he was dissing Drake, so a lot of those records nobody really listened to. But if you go back and examine those 3 records and then you listen to Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar's diss songs to Drake, I'm not gonna say Joe passed the baton to them, but the blueprint was kind of laid out from Joe of how you attack Drake. Joe was the first person to actually reveal that Drake had a BBL. Joe said in one of those records that Drake got his stomach done, but nobody really paid it any mind until Pusha T said it. Now, Joe also called Drake insecure in those records, which was a tactic and scheme that Kendrick used in his diss records to Drake. Now, again, I'm not gonna say Joe passed the baton, but his DNA was definitely there in some of those records that Pusha and Kendrick used to go at Drake. Now, again, I know some of you guys probably didn't even know Joe actually made diss songs to his Drake. Drake refused to engage with him. A lot of people said Drake was actually ducking Joe at the time, but if you actually go back to those records today, you can actually see why Drake did not want that smoke with Joe. You guys get in the comments below what you guys think about Joe saying he passed the baton to Pusha T, who passed it to Kendrick, which ended Drake. Do you guys think Joe is out of his mind for saying this, or does he actually have a point? Post comments below, subscribe to my channel, like this video. I'll see you guys later, man.